Okay? 10 years time at 8%, you get 36,000, you hand 36,000 investment, 10% for the 2,000. In 20 years, well, 30 years down the road, you've got $434,000 in investment. Just squeezing that, or the discipline to squeeze $6.60 a day. And by the way, that 434,000, I did an annuity calculation. That is, if you take that $434,000 and go to a financial institution and say, here, I want to do an annuity whereby you pay me every month for 20 years. Let's say you're now 65 and you're able to discipline yourself and get $434,000. They will give you $2,009 a month for 20 years. Imagine if that my uncle had done that. He's getting $2,000 in addition to CPP, and that's a lot of relief.
You can get him to come and do business now.
Well, it's in Nigeria now.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not that bad. I'm looking at what he has here. He built a house in Nigeria, so he just ran there.
Should be enjoying himself there.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, because even with that $600 or $800 he's getting, and he has a house, so
yeah.
it's
$600 in Nigeria, that is about 140
something a month.
But that's not a lot of money too.
Yeah.
in Nigeria is a lot.
But given your style, your way of life, so
if you don't keep your head low, it's not a lot of money in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to Nigeria last month. Nigeria is terrible.
It is well.
So determine where my money is going. That is, so net income after tax, less so that is you get your pay, take 10% into savings, 10% retirement, especially if you don't work in a place that has a pension plan. Then your living expenses, okay? So you list all your living expenses, insurance, clothing, transportation, and then so again, what they're trying to say is, once I get that money, that income, take care of myself, and then whatever is left is what I'm going to apportion on all the other obligations. But I need to have that habit of saving and investing. And then also we need to also have the habit of understanding what are our assets and liabilities and net worth. So what is my net worth? My net worth is my asset less my liabilities. What is asset? Something that has monetary value. That is what I have that has monetary value. Liability is something that is a claim on my asset. And then the difference between the two is my net worth. So you can have a positive net worth and you can have a negative one. Your asset is your house. Okay. Your liability is the mortgage you hold the bank for that asset. So that's an example. And your net worth is the difference. So if your house is 200,000 and you're holding the bank 150, if that is all you've got for assets and liabilities, the net worth is 50,000. That's why the crisis that happened in the US in the 2009, the housing crisis?
2008.
The bubble.
The
bubble. Where some people's house, the value is way less than what they owe. So that's when you say your house is underwater. So we need to be conscious of what are my assets and what are my liabilities and what's my net worth. So again, there's a worksheet here whereby you can list and determine your net worth. So your real estate is an asset, your car, then your liquid asset is what is in your checking account, your savings account, what you have in the money market. And then of course you also have registered money, what you have in RSP, pension, annuity. Okay, so there's a workbook there. And then your liability, what you owe, your credit card, your student loan, your mortgage. Food for thought.
Can
Yes.
you use this
this net worth analysis for prospects.
Yes, if you meet them, yeah, if they let you have that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are discussing that with them when you are talking about, when you go meet a client, you're looking at those 4 layers of building a strong financial future. So you're looking at protection, debt management. That's where you talk about raising the consciousness about money and then understanding what your net worth is. So that's where you discuss that, yes. So this one is talking about food for thought. Read what that definition of asset and liability. Asset, put money in your pocket. Liability, take money out of your pocket. The rich buy assets. The middle class buy liabilities they think are assets. For example, the middle class or everybody else, they want to ride fancy cars.
Yes.
It's a liability, but they think it's an asset.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the thinking of people. So this is just telling about the rich, dad, and poor, that definition of assets and liability. That car is a liability to some extent. You put gas in it, the value is not going to appreciate. The moment you drive a car out of the parking lot, out of the dealer's lot, 30% of the value is gone. And you have to pay insurance, you have to pay gas, you have to pay maintenance. It's not really an asset because it's not putting money in your pocket. So the rich dad and poor dad definition of asset is put something that put money in my pocket. That is, if I have a house that is a rental property, it's put money in my pocket. Liability is what takes money out of my pocket. So, what do you think? Buying a new car, is it an asset or liability for you?
Of course.
I guess I just mentioned.
It's a liability.
What about all those luxuries you have? Sometimes they are just liability. Cut down on your debt and reduce your liability. With commitment and discipline, you can get out of debt.
Yeah, for example, the issue of car. Why I say it's a liability.
Yeah.
I have similar experience. When I bought a car, I bought my car. I park. I'm paying approximately almost 300 on paychecks.
Yeah, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, you are like, he's like the one I talk on.
So it's like I'm paying mortgage. I said, this is bad. Why do you take this decision?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuel it.
Yeah.
You're going to repair maintenance.
Even though I'm not doing maintenance now, but fueling it is a major thing.
Yeah.
And now I sat down with my wife and said, let us calculate this money. Over 5 years or over 4 years, 325 in 5 years. How much is that?
Every month.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
325 bi-weekly.
It's 2 weeks. I'm telling you.
By goodness.
2 weeks.
Were you here on
So,
Wednesday?
take the calculator, 3.
So I said,
I said this on
how do I
Wednesday,
make that
and
decision?
maybe they think
No, I was saying, how do I make that decision as an accountant? Because I want to buy
a good car.
a good car.
Yeah.
325 times. If it's bi-weekly, you are talking of 26.
600 and times 2 more.
So-
8,450
Yes.
In a year.
So now
Yes.
I was telling my
times
wife
5
that
years.
if we use that money
That
to
is
reduce
about 50.
42,250.
So,
What
if I-
kind of car is that?
Toyota Highlander. So
Oh, down there.
if I use that to reduce my
big
mortgage,
car.
you are saying if I use that to reduce my mortgage,
Yeah, that is a lot.
that is a lot.
And you can
I will
actually
never.
buy. You can actually buy Honda Accord.
And I will never take that type of decision, even though I have that money that to pay. But of course, it's not a good decision.
It's not.
After all, it's not.
Yes, you need that vehicle, but you
It's a
could.
good car.
It's a good car. When did you put that money? My body will share.
If you drive as you land now, as I see her now, they look at you differently.
You know my big uncle I'm talking about. When I came in '97, he was living big like that. Do you remember that? Hey.
I had to save money.
To save money.
Even though I make sure I save money, I do bi-weekly. My money go to tax savings because I have that consciousness.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I use
You are forcing the decision.
yes, decision.
Yeah.
But there is nothing I could do until.
So this is why I'm always asking myself, why is this place not full? Because our people need to know all these things. You know, why?
There will always be a poor man in the land. It's in the Bible.
There always be.
There will always be a poor man.
Another decision, another mistake.
And what makes you poor
another mistake
is the way you think.
Another mistake that people make here too is people think that how big your house is how people
Value you.
value you.
Yes.
However, their income, the struggle
Does not support that.
that big house.
No, I think most people just want to impress people.
Yeah.
I tell people.
You're impressing your enemy.
I tell people
Impresses to the detriment of them.
the way as I see you now. Okay, I see that you have a good car. That's all. I don't come after then. It doesn't.
Are you going to drive a car?
It doesn't. I see many people just doing competition.
Yeah.
As
When
in-
I want to buy
Where
our
is it?
house,
Is
I
it?
evaluate it. What do we need? We went for bungalow because that I think that is what we need at this point. This is what our finance can take,
Yeah.
and that is what I bought.
Yeah.
I don't look at
Yeah, because a lot of people
who is going to
that they don't sleep in that house.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend like that.
One
He
thing-
has a house. You never, even when his children do birthday, all of us will go there. He's never at home.
I
He's
do those
always
one. And do you know one thing? When I came to this
always
country,
at
decision,
home.
I take a decision.
He has like 5
I
different
don't
work.
want job that I will work. I don't want job that I will work weekends. I don't want job that my evening will not be for my kids. And that decision you need to now back it with your strategy. That's what I did.
Yes.
So and you don't go beyond your limit.
Yeah.
If you go your limit here, see Pepe.
Because there's no loophole like Nigeria where you can run into money.
Yeah.
No, but the truth is that many white people here, they work smart, they don't work hard. It's most we blacks that just work and kill ourselves. You see, white men, it's hard for them that you see the ones that want to go and work weekends or this. They already know the way they already plan their how much they're earning, how much will be sufficient for them, and
For support work.
they will plan their weekends, their vacations, and everything. They don't overkill themselves.
For support work, is the black people that do overnight.
With their retirement time.
Yes.
It's
They will
true.
never joke with their retirement time.
Yeah.
And that is why they save massively for their retirement because they want
But
to
most
make
of them are
they
not
can-
saving.
and not, but at least
But the ones that are
some
saving.
of them, the chunk of them, those ones that are not saving is those people that you find
No, not
coffee-
just those ones. Not those original ones.
No, I'm not talking about original. You find them still working, probably in Walmart.
Yeah.
Aboriginals get government money.
Yeah.
Yes, now.
They don't care.
Yeah, okay.
And
Their
they don't
money-
have a
Money will always come.
I work with the Aboriginal because government is funding them every day, including their students.
They are my tenants in Norton.
Yeah.
They are my customers.
Because most of them, they sponsor them, all these band, government fund them,
Yeah.
they sponsor students, they sponsor their students to school, and even at large too, some of those students will also abandon class.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Because you know you can't Igbo, they know what they're doing. How do you destroy a man? You tell him to sit at home and you're giving him money.
Money, yeah.
You've destroyed him.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, So they Igbo know what they're doing.
And they now bring immigrants to come and work hard.
Because you're an immigrant, you're not going to contest the land with them.
Yes. And do you know one thing? When they give
Please,
that,
I'm asking question. How do I declare to be Aboriginal?
just go and marry one of them.
No, you don't have to marry now. It's only I said that you can just declare to be.
You declare,
Yeah.
then you have to prove it in court.
can't.
At the Supreme Court.
Because there's nothing bad in them giving me money. I still do business.
Some of them, they will drink to school. After collecting money, they will drink and
I'll show you a picture here. Maybe I've deleted
you know,
it.
one time, one of the
One of-
students, they pay for the hostel, pay for the tuition, he abandoned class,
Yeah.
just living in the hostel. So at the end of the term, you show your results, no results. So they are not going to renew for the other term.
See.
He said, no, I'm not coming to school.
I went to the duplex. The unit upstairs is open. It's empty. So I'm doing renovation, and I got there one day. This is boyfriend and girlfriend. They've, I don't know whether it's drug or drink.
Yes.
But they just slept on that lap. And I shout, hey, they didn't wake up. God knows what they drank or hit or smoked.
Nothing is the getting really
And
pregnant.
you know, do you know, like a slot that they give the Northerners in Nigeria, they give them slots for school yet.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, they have that slot already.
They have the slot. Even that slot, they won't.
It's not filled up.
It's not filled up. So most of the time, when I see these people, if you have got your independent over 150 years, and you are still complaining of all these.
No, you know, don't blame them.
I'm not blaming.
Or
They are telling
you
when I read their history, I now realized why they like that. They put them down. Like most of them, they'll take them from their parents, put them in CFS, no school, no training. At the 18 years, they push them out in the streets.
Yeah.
What do you want?
No, not CFS. What they did is that they pull them from there because they want to change their culture.
Yes.
Yeah, and exactly the same thing they did for
The
us.
first time they were doing with
That's why
they were using residential school for them.
If I have power in Nigeria today, I will put mosquito as a symbol.
Yeah.
Because it was mosquito that drove Oyinbo from us. They have no solution to mosquito malaria. I'll put mosquito as a national symbol. Now it save us.
Because
So when you say don't blame Aboriginal, Oyinbo know what they're doing.
they do the same thing. They did the same thing to us.
Mosquito now it save us.
They are pulling them from the school. They want to scrap their culture.
Yes.
Then teaching them this civilization.
Put them in residential school.
Residential school.
So those are the issues. And there in residential school, there are a lot of assault.
Yes.
You know, of course, what they are saying is right. But what I'm faulting is this. Okay, yes, it has been done, but you need to now renew yourself.
It's not easy.
How do you renew yourself
It's not
when
easy.
Then you go to school. The school is available. You encourage your people to go to school. Use that phone to
who
go
is
to
going
school.
to take?
Anyway,
You don't know the damage going right my
Anyway, let's focus on.
No, it's just like I'm telling you now. Let me give you money. Let me slap this old man. Because of the culture where you grew up, you can never do it. But I'll give a white boy take 20 and slap. He won't even think twice before doing it. That's what culture is. The way they were brought up is difficult to change culture.
Difficult. And then you know the alcohol has become part of the genotype.
Recently, now we're reading that most children that are born now, they are born alcoholic.
Yeah.
I was reading
that's
that
the genotype.
they are born alcoholic because their mother were drinking.
Yes.
So just imagine a baby that's already an alcoholic.
When they are carrying the baby.
Yes.
So-
So already addicted. So it's difficult.
And that's the same thing happening to blacks in South Africa.
Even some black on these streets are terrible. I see them, they are worse than Aboriginal. I'm serious. On this,
What did they do?
they are worse than Aboriginal. They go with all these Aboriginal and black people, all those Eritrea people.
Have you not seen some that are begging? I've seen blacks begging now.
Here, if you want to see them, you see them.
So living debt free is less stressful way to live. Just imagine the day when you had no debt or payments and think about how much simpler life is going to be. If you could use your income for building financial freedom, how much better would life look and feel with no financial stress? When you don't have to wake up with or when you receive that mail and you're wondering. So credit card debt. Some strategies for reducing your credit card debt include don't get more of it. Live below your means. Use cash, debit, or prepaid credit card if you have to. Pay only for what is necessary like food, the mortgage, insurance, and utilities. Cut out unnecessary expenses like cable TV and tech upgrades. In Canada, as of October 2015, there was 1.8 trillion in consumer debt, including mortgages. In Canada, the average person holds 3,745 in credit card, and I don't know when they did that. It's probably more than that now. So, what can a family do? Freeze those cards. You know, cut it to just one. So when we meet families, that's what we talk to them about under, where is the doctor?
Look at that.
The other day, to use tissue to clean body.
See?
The tissue to clean body. Tissue paper to clean live body.
Who?
It's good this now.
So when we meet family, we're talking about protection, debt management, emergency fund, and investment. So what we're doing today is here. So those are the 4 layers of building a strong financial foundation when we meet families. So that's what we're discussing with them. Financial foundation. So what we're treating today is here. Protection is when we talk about you need to have a life insurance, you need to
Well, is protection not more important than investment?
very good question of issue you've raised. Okay. Protection in life insurance, you know that.
Yeah.
So you say you have 500,000 life insurance or 250,000. God forbid something happened. Yes, and I'll give an example of a man that died about 8 years ago or more. I even met his son yesterday. The man was very diligent with investment. As at the time of his sudden death, he had 50,000 there. He didn't do insurance. He didn't do protection life insurance. Well, they had a mortgage of 350,000. Hey, 50,000 is not going to help that family. 50,000 he had piled up in investment is not going to help that family. If he had had protection, maybe 500,000 life insurance of say $80 a month, or that is, or say even $70 a month for term insurance, that would have helped the family after his demise. So that's the difference right there. You may not have saved enough for that unfortunate incident. Okay. So yes, investment is good. Protection is the foundation. So you can see if I look at that picture as if I'm looking at a building, that protection is your foundation. Investment is your roof.
Okay, I was looking at it from.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Investment is your roof.
Okay.
You have to take care of the foundation.
Yeah, I was looking from.
Yeah. So. And that's the argument when we talk about the other people, the argument they tell people to do, and we're going to talk about insurance in details later, one of these days. They encourage people to do term insurance instead of universal. And they're saying, okay, put the difference in investment. And then, but what they are not telling people that universal life insurance is not just life insurance alone. It's a combination of investment and protection. So we're going to deal with that issue and how to defend it when the issue is raised, when you meet people. But of course, you can tell them, then you have to educate them and say, look, term insurance is what it is, term. At the end of the term, it's going to be more expensive. Like when I meet somebody, and even the term insurance for that person was too expensive for him because now he's 52. Even time, he says it's too expensive. Again, it's better to start earlier. In everything we do, investment, insurance, you start early than late. Okay. So 2 ways to fix a credit line. Time, right? Okay. So I think we've got through the real gist of today. So the objective is for a person to get out of debt and begin living with their income means. The credit line freeze is done to contact the creditor and ask them to freeze the credit limit. Okay? So at least when the credit card company start increasing your limit, say no, that's enough. The other is to be disciplined and stop using the card. Take the card out of your purse or wallet and put them in a safe or hidden spot. Okay? Once a credit line is paid off, it's a good idea to close that account. We don't promote the closing of all your credit lines anyways. Okay. Then spending habit, what is the true cost of debt? And that's what we talk about, rule of 72. That is, if you take the interest rate on your credit card, 72 divided by that interest rate, that is how many years your debt will double. So if your credit card is charging 20%, or let's say 18%.
19.9.
Okay,
Majority of
19.9.
them, 19.9, that's what majority of them charge.
Okay, divide 72 by that, so 72 divided by, and I don't know why they call it 99.9 instead of 20. So 3.6, so in 3.6 years, your debt will double for that rate. So it's important to be aware of that, okay? And then, of course, so they are saying, do what they call debt roll-up. I'm just trying to go through quickly now. That is, start paying off the debt from the one that has the highest interest rate. And then to clear that one, then move to the next one. And you're going to save a lot of money. Okay. Okay, let's go.
You need to read that place. To round up that place I put just now.
Okay.
You need to read it.
This one, okay,
You
that's
need to read it.
okay. Let me look for
round up.
So, okay, what slide is that? Okay, with savings, a person can walk tall. The state of your saving does have a lot to do with how tall you walk. Your savings affect the way you stand, the way you walk, the tone of your voice, your physical well-being, and your self-confidence. A person without savings is always running. He or she must. He must take the first job offered or nearly so. She sits nervously on life's chair because any small emergency throws her into the hands of others. Without savings, a person must be too grateful. Gratitude is a fine thing in its place, but a constant state of gratitude is a horrible place in which to live. A person with savings can walk tall. He may appraise opportunities in a relaxed way, have time for judicious estimate, and not be rushed by economic necessity. A person with savings can afford to resign from a job if her principles do dictate or so dictate. And for this reason, she would never need to do so. A person who can afford to quit is much more useful to his company and therefore more readily promoted. He can afford to give his company the benefit of his own most candid judgment. A person with savings can afford the wonderful privilege of being generous in family and neighborhood emergencies. He can take the level steer of any man, friends, stranger, or enemy. That ability shapes our personality and our character. The ability to save has nothing to do with the size of your income. Many high-income people spend it all, darting through life like minions. But as the dean of American bankers, J.P. Morgan, once advised a young broker, take waste out of your spending. You will drive the haste out of your life. If you don't need money for college, a home or retirement, then save for self-confidence. And with self-esteem and peace of mind, that comes from having savings. Walk tall through life. It's just like Dangote, until one day that he went to a bank and collect $10 million.
Yeah.
Take it to the house
Yes.
and say,
Look at
So I have this money, I read the news. Okay, I watch it on M.O. Ibrahim.
yeah. So that's so. So I hope we've been able to impart good, useful knowledge today. And if you find it impressive, I hope you'll be able to bring your friends for next. We meet every Wednesdays and Saturdays. To you.
Okay, let's round up quickly with a few things. maybe I will use the phone.
So I can remove this, right? I can turn this off.
Yeah, you can save our energy.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we can save money too. Okay, so this is World Financial Group. World So this is what we do. We want to touch the life of every family. Because in Canada, it is surprising that we are one of the weirdest nations and we still complain about money. It's not true. Canada is one of the weirdest nations. As a matter of fact, we are number 2 after Switzerland in terms of quality of life. So after Switzerland, Canada is the second best country in terms of quality of life. And I think it was even said that Canada is the best place, one of the best top 5 places to raise your children, right? And yet, this is a major problem for them. Is there anybody family that doesn't talk about money? There's no family that doesn't talk about money. So let's look at it. You know, many people, the whole world likes, we all like, everyone likes to go to school and acquire degrees. Which is very important, and we have professors there. We have engineers and different doctors and everywhere. But the melting point of all these people is what? Money. Anywhere you are, whether you are engineer, doctor, engine, doctor, prof,
Computer scientist.
computer savvy people, PhD, whatever they call them, lab scientists, pharmacists. The main point is money. And interestingly, we chase academic education, academic degrees at the expense of financial education. That is where we find ourselves today. And if making money or getting wealthy is a function of education, then these people will be the wealthiest. Abi, suffice to say, if making money or being wealthy is a function of the level of education you acquire, professors should be the people that are wealthy. And in our community in Nigeria, as a military here, I see people crazy going back to school and struggling to be on queue for nursing.
For nursing.
Some people have been on queue for the past 3 years and waiting that one day they will call them up and they start studying nursing. And they are already at the age of 40. And they are waiting for the next 3 years to be called in, to be called up, to start nursing. They will be for the 3 years by then. And then they start, they have had children already that are already getting 18, 19, going to go to university. They're obviously going to be in the same class with their children, right? And then they will start and then begin to maybe at the age of, nursing is about 4 years, right? And then
I think it's 5 years.
You have practical, it depends if it is practical nurse, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I'm talking of the RON.
LPN,
RON.
RN is 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. So 4 years, which
the 2
means,
years one.
which
They
means,
still do it.
Okay.
which means they were going to be about, give and take, they were going to be 48 when they are graduated, right? And then when they graduate, they start paying them about maybe $70,000 per annum. 70,000, maybe 70,000 per annum. And the tax on 70,000 per annum, 70,000 per annum, a tax on it is about $18,000.
Yeah.
So by the time you remove $18,000 from this one, they are on what? $50-something thousand. And you can actually take 3 support work and make $70,000, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we all, every single time, pursue academic education at the detriment of financial education. And sincerely speaking, at the end of the day, all that you study in your school, I'm not trying to say education is not good, it's good. I mean, if not for education, I would have been in the village. There's no way I would have been in the village. It would be difficult unless I ran to Italy, all those passed through Libya to come in the village. But education is good, but then, whatever at the end of your education, what is the product of the education is money. So if you make this money, good. Those guys who are doing 3, 4, 5 jobs, they are making money. But they deserve to know how this money works for them.
Some of them pay money back.
Yeah, of course. If they shoot you to the higher bracket.
Yeah.
That's why the salary, this government did not design this salary for workers. They designed it for business owners.
When he was training, he talked about that it's not how much you make that matters, it's how much you what. And not how much you make that matters also is how much you keep. And not how much you keep, but it's how much you keep and what? Invested. You keep them and you don't invest them, you remain worried about that. Good, you can have emergency funds on there. Emergency fund. But if you want to grow the money, you have to invest it. So we need an army of people that can educate a lot of people that today, though they are professors, but they are financially illiterate. Illiterate. I can swear that one. I can't write. You go and write one again. Financially illiterate. They are not literate in finance because they don't know how to manage their money, and that is what keeps them where they are. And like I said, the Bible says that there will always be a poor person in the land, and the only thing that can take you away from poverty, we think right now, is for you to understand how this money works. If you don't understand how money works, you are eventually going to end up working for what? For money. And when you work for money, you will struggle all the time. And at the end of the day, at retirement, you will be at the mercy of people. You'll be at the mercy of government. You'll be at the mercy of the company when you work. Now, retirement for company is almost becoming a problem because you might all have retirement and work for 30 years. At the end of the day, one other company comes and buy that company the year you're about to retire, and they told you that everybody that are coming from the company where we bought, that they will lose their pension. They will have to accept the new rule, or they are forced to go out of the company, and they go out without pension. Because the pension in the first place was contributory. It was not mandatory. Right? And so that is why we need to understand how money works. Understanding how money works is a role every family, every leader in the family has to take up as their responsibility. Because if you don't take that responsibility, you are going to fail your family. So that is why we are here. We want to bring the knowledge to people because we discover that knowledge is what? Power. If you don't know the knowledge of how money works. For example, I have a lot of people, a lady that I met one day, she is in payroll. I mean, I expect somebody that in financial payroll that should know about money a little bit. And I asked this lady, where is your children RESP? ROESP. He said they are in the bank. He said they are in the bank. I said in the bank. Where are they in the bank? Which vehicle did they use to save it for you? He said, I don't know.
She doesn't know. She wouldn't know.
I said, okay, let me help you out. Is it in GIC or in mutual fund? Because these are the two places where bank put money, RASP. He said, I don't even know where it is. I said, can you go get me my statement? So if this guy really doesn't understand it, he goes and does payroll and does accounting, very good job in that work and get paid. But he doesn't understand how money works. He makes the money and doesn't know how to make the money
Excuse me, fine. I need to rush to another friend.
Okay. He makes the money and doesn't know how that money can work for him. I was talking to one Nigerian, and then I did a RRSP for him and all of them, and then he's so busy. He has about 3 jobs or 4 jobs, I can't remember again. At the time it was 4 jobs. He's so busy. And then the company that I did his RRSP sent him documents. And then he called me back and said, your company have not sent me those documents. I said, really? Can you allow me to go meet your wife at home and let's sort it out? So yes, go to my house and then let him bring out the letter. In fact, when that guy brought out a heap of letters, some of them have not been opened. As a matter of fact, we opened one of them. There's a check they issued them. So a payment of a check that was inside one of the letters. The whole form, the whole 3, 4, 5 letters my company sent to him that where he was doing something, RRSP document to find his tax, they were there. I was almost going to call the company and say, can you reissue this guy with this thing? And then mail it to my office so that I can personally go into deliver it until I went to the house. So if that guy doesn't open his mails, doesn't do all it, meanwhile he's struggling. And what he's struggling for is inside his house. They gave him a check. Maybe MPR or whoever paid him a check of something they are refunding back to him. It was there. The wife took out the check. Oh, this check is here. Okay, I'll go and pay it into the account tomorrow or next week. So many people are neglecting money. You understand about money? Well, we may think about, everybody says money. Like I met one, okay, I was with Theophilus that day when I went to see my mechanic. And then I saw one guy from Congo, and the guy said, oh, I gave you my card, let's walk. And he said, I don't like money. I said, really, why are you here? He said, oh no, I don't like money. I said, what do you want to do now? I said, I want to buy a car. What do you want to buy? He said, money. I don't like money. Well, in the first place, what make you to leave Congo and come here?
I come here. Congo that is riddled with war. It will have settled down there.
So, if it is only taking a little time to learn about money, it matters a lot. Because if you don't learn about money, how it works, you will work for the rest of your life for money. You can sit down literally at home one day and allow your money work. Last Wednesday, I was talking to them. I told them that there is a man called Oba Otudeko. I don't know whether you guys know him. I don't know whether I got the spelling. Right.
Yes.
This guy is one of the highest shareholders in First Bank. I worked with First Bank in 2000 to 2005.
At the point, I think he was the chairman.
Yeah, at the point he was the chairman. I left First Bank in 2004 for Standard Trust Bank. And in 2002, Tudeko was having 91 million shares with First Bank. And First Bank that 2002 declared $1 for every 1 share. Sorry, declared $1 naira for every share that you owe. Tudeko made 91 million without knowing the First Bank. He didn't go to any First Bank branch to work. But he made 91 million. The next year, 2003, First Bank declared 150 kobo for every 1 share, and gave a bonus share of 1 share for every 1 share. Tudeko had another 91 million shares, which gave us 181 million shares, 82 million shares. And then 50 kobo on 91 million shares is about 45 million that he made. So he got 45 million, half of what he got in 2002. And then he got double the share. In 2004, when I was leaving, First Bank declared 1 naira for every share. Now, but Tudeko made 182 million naira now working in the bank. In 2000, when I joined the bank, Tudeko was giving 36 candidates. That during my time when I was entering First Bank, we were 36,600 that wrote the exam. It was Maeka conducted that exam for us. Yeah, I did mine in Lagos. But Obotudeco has 36 sports, no exam. And interview was a makeshift belief interview. You know how you go to Senate and take a bow? That's how you go through. You go through those guys. Just introduce yourself and are you Obotudeco candidate? Oh, Obotudeco candidate. Okay, you can go. And as a matter of fact, one guy that was in Benikin Square, you know Benikin Square branch of First One, was actually Obotudeco candidate. That's how I got to know that he has 30 names. He was a Debo. But Debo eventually committed severally he stole money in the bank, and then he will reference Obotudeco that is this guy. So they pardoned him for the first time. The second one again, he referenced Obotudeco going to use his power. Obotudeco said, no, I am not. If you steal all the money, can you pay me 182 again? So it's related to the mom related to Obotudeco. Now the important is if your son not ready to work again. I think eventually First Man sacked him even with Obotudeco because he couldn't protect him anymore. Yeah. So what am I saying? Obotudeco decide who becomes the MD of First Bank. Because why? Why? Money. If you like, money. If you like, let there be a professor that you can speak all your grammar. Doesn't matter. But Obotudeco with Yoruba language decides who is the what? MD of First Bank. Why? Because this guy understands the power of what? Power of money. To invest. So that is what we are doing. Nothing more. We are here. Knowledge is power, and what financial group is determined to provide people throughout North America with a financial education that empowers them to have a better future. This is a campaign for financial literacy. So where we are actually looking for an army of people that will join us in this campaign, and we are looking for an army of people. So that is why we need people to join us. More than 50% of Canadians are financially literate. Before, I think it was the last, when we were in the last century, they were talking about computer illiteracy, right? What we are talking now, which is fundamental, is financial illiteracy. And financial illiteracy can do two things for us, which is the cost of our campaign. The financial literacy will do two things for us. Number one, it will help us to fight debt. Number two, it will help us to fight poverty. Number three, it will help us to fight illiteracy. These are the three things we do. This is our cause. This is why we are WFG. This is our cause. That poverty is in the lines. Debts on the market. For every $1 that we make, we are spending $1.81. Every $1 where we generate, we are spending $1.81. Where does the 81 cents come from? Credit card, mortgage. I don't know how to spell that. Line of credit. Where different things. That's where we are. Like my brother went to buy this car. I'm sure if you want to rely on his salary, he will not buy this. But you want to buy Honda Accord.
I rely on my care because I do.
No, I'm just kidding.
I do the analysis, and I think, but in retrospect, I was just thinking that if I use that to pay my mortgage,
but if you really want to bring out 50,000, it's going to shrink almost all your income.
Yes.
Yeah, at that moment.
So at that moment, anyway.
So that is what this is what we are fighting, and do we have this exist in our country today? Yes, people are poor here. A lot of us are coming from immigrants. Some of us borrow money to come here, sincerely speaking. And when you come here, you have to do that 4 or 5 jobs so that you can pay the debt at home. It's just the whole truth. There are a lot of people I said they are interested in doing this business, but I tell them, come and join me. They said, oh, bro, you can't pay me monthly. I need money now because I'm owing money back home. So that is where we find ourselves. It is good to go to school, but it's also good to learn all this. Most of the things we learn here, they are never taught in school. Unless you go on. So that is where we wrap it up. Join us, join the army. To join us, I don't know whether we told you last time, did we tell you? It's $136. And then you write exam 177. And then you write provincial exam 110. That is the total cost outlay.
What is the website for the profession?
ICM.ca.
I see.
ICM.nb.ca because in Manitoba.
Yeah.
So this is what it costs. And once you join and you write the exam and then you pass, you will have the ability to make money. And you have the ability to know more about money.
Can we register our business with Manitoba Profits? No.
Our business?
Do we need to register as individual?
Once you register, you're a business owner.
Okay.
Once you register with WFD, they give you a code, you're a business owner. I did my tax with my everything. I allow my car expenses and everything with my tax. So do we have any questions? That's where we'll wrap it up today. Any question?
That final exam, if you don't pass it, you have to pay again.
Yeah, this one you don't pay, right? But this one is provincial is cheaper. I did and like I told you, I don't know too much. I did the one you are doing. That is 140 questions. 140 questions
Yes.
that time for 4 hours. I did it 4 times at the office level. 4 times. It was the 5th time that I passed. The provincial I did it once. So it was good. At this point, I don't need to pay money. I'll just go in anytime I feel like going. I mean, you say go back again. My wife will force me to go back. And eventually, I passed. When I passed, the next time I went back, I went to do provincial. I passed. I got 62%, which is okay. I don't need more than that.